recently that these disasters have you wondering if the climate models on which we've all been relying are wrong. What did you mean by that?
You know, I think if you described to me what's going on now a few months ago, I would have said you're crazy.
Just a few months ago.
It sounds like a dystopian sci-fi novel.
The climate crisis, my friends, is the test of our times. And while some may still believe it is unfolding in slow motion, no, this test is now as acute and as existential as any previous one.
Record-breaking rainfall has caused severe flooding in parts of central China. More than 200,000 people in Hunan province have been evacuated to shelters.
Weather forecasters say it's the heaviest rainfall the region has experienced in 1,000 years.
This is what happens when the amount of rain that usually falls over the course of an entire year pours down within days.
Throughout Hunan province, streets have become surging brown rivers, swallowing traffic in their wake.
Many struggle to get out of the subway system themselves and back onto higher ground.
Images of passengers stuck inside underground train carriages with the water rising around them have shocked a country used to safe mass transport.
The deluge took the city and these commuters by surprise.
Its subway system now an underground river. Commuters standing for air.
A deafening explosion at this aluminium factory after a nearby river burst its banks. The floodwater mixed with chemicals, lighting up the night sky.
And the system was flooded at a frightening speed. China's leader, Xi Jinping, has described the situation as extremely severe. A year's worth of rain has fallen in the region within days.
More than a dozen cities in the central part of China affected, with Hunan's population close to 100 million.
On ground level, dramatic video shows a group of people attempting a rescue before the ground gives way beneath them. Across this city of 12 million, the rising floodwaters turn streets into raging rivers, trapping drivers in their cars and residents.
This is a rainy time of year in China and floods are an annual occurrence. But it's the record-breaking nature of this rainfall which has people worried, and these extreme weather events seem to be happening much more frequently.
When heat waves hit one of the world's coldest regions, you know something is not right. This is Siberia. 20 towns in the region are on fire.
Now, this is an area of land we're talking about here which is almost as big as the whole of Wales. More than 1.5 million hectares of land are burning after an unprecedented heat wave hit Siberia. In less than 2 months, the fires have spewed out around 150 megatons of carbon dioxide.
Such situations repeat themselves almost every year. We hear similar stories, and it's very hard to understand, you know, what's the nature of these fires. I mean, and why they are repeating themselves almost every year.
As we speak, thousands of acres of forests are on fire in Canada, Russia, and the United States.
The heat wave is sucking moisture from roots and trees, creating a tinderbox in Siberia, usually one of the coldest regions on Earth.
That wind is driving the smoke to the eastern Siberian city of Yakutsk, famous for being the coldest city on Earth.
There's no consensus on what caused the fires. Some are blaming the drought, others are pointing the finger at rising temperatures.
Burning hotter, faster, and more explosive than ever before.
Those flames, coupled with the Canadian wildfires, are blanketing much of the United States with noxious smoke, affecting air quality and triggering health alerts thousands of miles away.
With hillsides ablaze, orange, smoke-filled skies hanging eerily, as so many pockets of the American West burn. More than 80 uncontained large fires are burning in 13 western states. More than 2.5 million acres burned so far this year. That's 720,000 some acres more than this time last year.
Firefighters say what's unfolding here is more than one disaster feeding off another. Historic drought is the perfect fuel for these epic conditions. But it's climate change creating infernos larger than ever, with vortex of smoke powerful enough to spawn their own weather systems. The unimaginable is becoming routine.
We're seeing hot days and heat waves like we've never seen before.
Toxic smoke drifts thousands of miles and chokes the east. The sun tainted red in its soupy haze. Our planet's beauty and its peril in one.
Just shy of 300 wildfires burning, with nearly 2,500 properties on evacuation order.
And with the situation growing more dire by the hour, First Nations leaders are joining the growing calls for the province to declare a state of emergency.
The water's subsiding in western Germany, but overnight, more flooding in other parts of the country. High water in Bavaria, Saxony. In Austria too, towns, cities deluged.
The German Chancellor Angela Merkel has expressed shock at what she called surreal destruction caused by flash flooding on a visit to one of the worst hit towns.
It's shocking. I'm tempted to say the German language has no words to describe the destruction that's occurred here.
We have breaking news right now. The USGS is reporting a strong 6.8 earthquake that was just off the coast of Panama. The quake happened within the past hour. The epicenter is offshore, south of the border of Panama and Costa Rica.
Climate scientist at Texas A&M. Andrew, how much is climate change exacerbating the intensity of these floods and the heat and the fires?
Yeah, I mean, climate change is now a factor in every single weather event that occurs, and it's making heat waves worse, it's making intense rainfall worse, it's causing sea level to go up, it's acidifying the ocean. It affects everything that we experience now.
Around the mid-2030s, locations along the Pacific and Gulf of Mexico coastlines will experience rapid increases in high tide flooding frequency. The floods will sometimes occur in clusters lasting a month or longer, depending on the positions of the moon, earth, and sun, according to the JPL News article. Low-lying areas near sea level are increasingly at risk and suffering due to the increased flooding, and it will only get worse.
Shalom. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Baharakakadash. That belongs to elders. Those are instilling the authority and the spirit of the Lord, the election that obtained it. The house of David. And, you know, if you're outside the Lord's temple, these things are going to trouble you. You're going to be worried about all these things happening on the earth. You're going to be distressed just like these heathens are getting distressed, and they're having to leave and forsake their houses. They're losing money, they're losing their lives, and the curses are falling upon them. Well, if you're outside the temple and you're not a part of the Lord's holiness and this truth, then you're in that same spirit, that worldly, carnal spirit, trying to save yourself. And the Lord said in Micah 5:15, He's going to execute vengeance such as have not ever been heard of before on the heathen. Micah 5:15. So the Lord, He's setting records right now, man. He's setting records. Like you heard in that video, you know, there was rain in one day that there is in a year. So this is not normal. You know, these things are not normal. And this isn't really climate change. It's actually the Lord visiting the earth and judging. He's starting to judge, and He's starting to speak speak. See, the Lord, he's speaking through us, right? But he's not just talking right now. He's also doing. Because they made void the law. They made void the law. And now the Lord is bringing that judgment for what happens if you don't take heed of the law. You know, like that tower in Miami that fell. You know, well, some say that, oh yeah, you know, it was Esau. Some say, you know, it just wasn't built right. But at the end of the day, the Lord made that thing collapse. And the Lord, he's collapsing a lot of men in this truth that think the Lord is playing a game and bluffing when he says he's coming like a thief in the night. See, all those people that were taken by them fires had to leave everything that they have in their homes, all their valuables. They didn't have much time to, oh yeah, get the TV, get this, get that. Now they had to take what they could and get out. And if they didn't, then they died with all those possessions. So we're in a time now of just, you know, you have to value the word and the spirit and the life that you have, that you're being blessed with and granted with every day, because tomorrow is never promised. So as the Lord is coming like a thief in the night, those that are not aware of what the Lord is doing, the children of darkness, they're going to be taken in the snare. They're going to be taken in the floods, in the fires, and the Esau coming in like a flood. You know, with the whole Delta variant and, oh, the unvaccinated are killing the vaccinated. It's all kinds of confusion. And those that aren't in Yahushua and teaching Yahushua and following Yahushua, they're going to get caught up into that confusion, into that destruction. Because our power is not the author of confusion. He's a finisher. He's the author and finisher of our faith. But see, guys, they walk by their sight, what they can see. You see? Psalm 66 and verse 5, it says, "Come and see the works of power. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. He turned the sea into dry land." There's droughts, there's heat waves, and it's affecting, see, it doesn't matter if you're just in one state or one city. It's affecting the whole world, the whole globe, because of the Lord's bringing the judgment upon all the inhabitants. No flesh shall have peace. You're not going to have succor. You're not going to be able to deliver yourself or get away from this judgment. Even the wicked Edomite elites, you know, they're going to hide in their bunkers thinking they're just going to wait this thing out until people die off, and then they're going to rise like a phoenix. Well, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. They're going to go right into slavery. Because a new dominion, a new government is being established underground, you know, with a few men that's actually fighting the fight of faith and setting up a standard, raising up the banner upon this high mountain. It says, he turned the sea into dry land. They went through the flood on foot. See, so the Lord's bringing the floods. But the Lord, he's on top of the flood. He is over the flood. See, so he's causing us to get over the flood, to get through the judgments. It says, there did we rejoice in him. He ruled by his power forever. His eyes behold the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Salah. You see, and that's what they do. They exalt themselves. So Lord, he's having to abase many men, even amongst this truth. And they don't exalt the Lord and what he's doing. They exalt their own camp. Oh yeah, look what we done. And they glorify in their works, which your works are not going to justify you. We're saved by grace. And a lot of you guys, you're using the Lord's grace for lasciviousness. You know? So the main point being is you have to understand that the Lord, he's making his moves right now. He's working his work. And he's in the midst right now. The judgment is happening right now. You know, guys, oh, the judgment day. We're in them days, man. It's very very judgmental time. Okay. Luke 17 and verse 26 says, Luke 17 and 25. But first must he suffer many things and be rejected of this generation. So as we're not greater than our master, and we don't make it that we're greater than our master, like unlike a lot of you guys, and then you call men of the flesh master, which Yahushua never told you to do that. We are also suffering many things. And we're also being rejected of this wicked generation. But that's a good thing. That's where you really want to be. You want to be rejected, despised, and men, separated from camps and large gatherings, you see, in churches. Because that's not where the Lord is. The Lord's in the midst of 2 or 3, only a few. It says, and as it was in days of Noah, so shall be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives. They were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. You see, so until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And what are we doing? We're entering into the Lord's righteousness. We're entering into a straight gate, a position of difficulty where only one man can go at once. You know, seeking our own salvation with fear and trembling. So as the elect, you know what's out there that are actually building the way the Lord told you to build, and not building too big or too small, but doing it exactly to the T and to the measurements he wants it. What we're doing, we're entering into the Lord's rest. We're laboring to enter into the Lord's rest. You see, our labor is almost finished. Our work that we had to work is almost complete. It says that until the day that Noah enters into the ark, which an ark is a covenant, is a house, basically, you know, somewhere where the valuables are kept safe from the outside threats. It says, and the flood came and destroyed them all. And likewise, also as it was in days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built it. So guys, they're not building up themselves on the inside. And it's heavy too, because they did eat and drink. And a lot of guys, the only reason they followed Yahushua back then and now is just because of the loaves, and they were filled carnally. That's as far as they would go. See, when you go to John 6, they couldn't follow Yahushua anymore because they couldn't receive the deeper things of the Spirit. You have to drink of his blood. You have to eat his flesh. You see? And the Lord said it like that so only the righteous would get it. He didn't want everyone to get it. You see? And a lot of you guys, you don't get that. You don't understand that. But see, the wise understand. We understand. Genesis 6:17, and behold, even I do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. So everything that is of the earth, that is earthly, that is devilish and sensual, and all about their carnal mind and their thoughts, they're going to die here. They're going to be buried in the earth. And it's heavy too, because when you go into the flood, you study about like the flood. There's been archaeologists that like went to the Grand Canyon, and they've actually seen like layers of like dead things and like how the flood really happened. So there is carnal like evidence of the Lord's judgment and how the word of the Lord is true and it's facts. But see, we believed even before we knew about these things. We believed, see, and that's who the Lord said is blessed. Blessed are those that have not seen the Lord and yet do what he said to do. Those are the ones that are truly blessed, because those are the ones that's truly walking through faith, that have been given that special gift of faith. And you can't get it. You can't buy it. You can't stroke other men's egos, elders and camp heads' egos to get the faith. It's a gift, man. It's you know, it's rare to come by. So a lot of these camps, they're giving you a whole totally false image, man. You see? And the Lord's not going to spare. He's going to kill many people, man, in these times. 2 Peter 2:5, and spare not the old world, but save Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness. So we're prophesying. That word preacher means prophet. And we're telling you before it happens of Yahushua's righteousness. That's what our righteousness is of. None of ourselves, none of our own. And we're not going about to establish our own righteousness. And we don't exalt our camp. You see? We exalt Yahweh and Yahushua, and we're hated, you know. And if you can't stand the rain, then you ain't gonna get through the day that shall burn like an oven. You know, you have to be able to adapt to what's going on. You know, not care about your life, but care about you pleasing the Lord. Think about what is the Lord wants you to do and what is gonna make him happy and honor you as his son and as a brother. It says, and spare not, it says, preacher of righteousness, right? So a lot of guys are not preaching righteousness. You see, they're preaching themselves. Bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. So this is all coming upon this world. And it's coming very rapidly and swiftly. And it's not lingering anymore. And you have to understand, like, we're at them times, man. You know, we're nigh at hand. We're nigh at hand. 2nd Ezra 6:24. And the Lord said, even close to what we even expect is our deliverance, is our redemption, man. You see, we're gonna see how truly special and how truly rich and wealthy we have, that we have the blood of the Lamb. You see, that's the only way we're going to conquer and overcome the wiles of the devil and his dragon and all these false prophets and false brethren. So 2nd Ezra 6:24, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours shall they not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. See? So only with our eye would we behold the judgment upon the wicked. Only with our eye. You see? We're to see the judgment and the wrath upon all our enemies and all our foes. Esau heathens, but primarily amongst our nation, man. All you guys that have hated on us, disregarded what we said, and threw our name in the dirt and crucified our character, you see, in GMS, all these camps, right, that act like we don't exist. The Lord, he's about to show you how much he just hates you, man, and how much in the Lord's eyes you don't exist to him. He's gonna say, I never knew you. See, the Lord's servants are gonna know each other. They're gonna know, like John the Baptist, he knew from the jump that Yahushua was the Son of God. Yahushua, he knew his disciples from the jump that they were men in whom no guile was. He said, follow me, I'll make you a fisher of men, you know. But the thing is, with a lot of guys, they don't know us and we don't know them because they're wicked, man. And we've been divided from the 2/3. And the law of 2/3 are in these camps. Because a lot of these camps and elders, they've grown these huge, great followings, these thousands of people, but then they don't got the bread of life. They only got the carnal bread. So their bread is spoiling, it's rotting, and it's fading away. And they're going to die horrible deaths of famine, of sword, of pestilence, of beasts. You see, because they don't have Yahushua. They just have the Bible, and they're putting on a front like they really somebody, like they're really serving the Lord, but they're not. They're serving themselves. You know, and time again, we've been given examples, and we've been warning, admonishing, rebuking, and only the righteous is going to understand. Only the righteous shall understand. It says, 2 Ezra 6:26, and the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turn into another meaning. So we're being changed, man, in the twinkling of an eye. We're being transformed, you see, into new creatures, you know, as the angels. The angels don't really desire sex and food and things of the flesh. The angels just desire what? Pleasing the Lord, making him happy. And that's what our mind is being transformed into. It says, for evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. So quench not the spirit, but all the deceitful workers and all the evil is being put out. Their strange fire is being put out, and their deceit is being quenched. You see, through the foolishness of preaching. So Lord, when you brothers are edified, I gotta get back going, and Lord, and be back. You know, you brothers stay strong, and you know, rejoice always in the Lord. We're in a great time, and let nothing get you down in this place. This place is done. You know, don't save her, she don't want to be saved. Let the whore die. Let the harlot be consumed with the fire. Let her be cut off and perish. But the righteous, let the grape that the Lord has kept perfect through much labor be sound and safe. Be kept. And day to day show the praise and the works of the Lord. The dead won't praise thee, but the living will. And with that, all praises, glory, honor, fair, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai. Shalom to the elect, to house of David, and Baba Ball, destruction all you anti-Yahushais. We're at your end in the beginning of the election, the first fruits, the bride. Hey, Shalom.